Oh, hi. Prof G here. Got another machine video for you guys.
Hey, Dad. Dad.
What?
What the heck are you doing?
Well, I wanted to see what it'd be like to be a YouTuber for a day. Come on,
right. Give me my shirt back.
Oh, man.
Prof G Jr. here. He was a teacher, so I guess he's the original G, the original Prof G. Anyways, let's get right into it. We got a new piece of software to look at, Symphonic AI by Sample Logic and Red Room Audio. And Red Room Audio has been in contact with me for a little while now, and I've been wanting to do something for them. And they have their own software that they sell on their website, and then Sample Logic is another company, and these two kind of teamed up for this program. And it's awesome. This is the first time I've tried anything out by Sample Logic. I'm quite impressed with the sequencing abilities. So I'll show you some of my favorite things that I've noticed about it right off the bat. I'm not going to get too technical because my friend Ruben has already done some amazing videos, so go check those out on YouTube. I've got a little idea here started. We'll build on that and just give you a little taste and give you my thoughts on the software. Okay, so this is the first patch that I started playing around with on this idea, and I got pretty much inspired right off the bat. It's got this kind of pulsing thing happening. And when you get higher up on the keyboard, you get some percussion that comes in. So before we look at the interface, I'll just show you what the rest of this idea sounds like so far. For my drums, what I've got in there, decoded forms. That is an older expansion by Native Instruments. It's working perfect kind of industrial sounds for this little project here. And I've got another decoded forms kit right there. So here's the first patch. I've got it in keyboard mode, set it to G minor, and then, so you get this kind of pulsing thing. And the way Symphonic AI works is you've got 4 different cores. So you have 4 layers, and it's kind of a step up from some of the other ones that we've been looking at that only have 2 layers or 3 layers. So we've got 4 potential layers. You can turn them on and off with this little switches right here. You can solo each one of them. And you can sort of see some levels right here, which I really appreciate, the fact that you can see the different volumes of each of these layers as you're playing. And we can see right off the bat that this one isn't playing on this first note when I hold down the note. But if I go up a little higher, we can see that it's kicking in. And if I were to look over at my Complete Control keyboard, we can see that everything's yellow. And so what yellow means in this one is that all of the presets are overlapping. And so with Symphonic AI, a really neat feature is you can click right here and you can choose ranges for each of these sounds. Not sure if you can see it there, but on the top of the keyboard, we've got some blue notes showing that those are one of the ranges of these core sounds. So it's very easy to take your sounds and then go, okay, I want this one to only be in the middle. I want this one here with these little dots. I want this one to be just on the very bottom. Let's take it nice and low. And then we go over to this one, and we're going to put that one somewhere a little bit more in the middle. And then we'll go to this one up in the upper range. And so now we can see my keyboard is split up. We've got pink for these lower layers. This is where things start to overlap. We got the green one, bit more of an overlap, and then the upper one. So I love how easy it is to customize the layout of all of these different cores, all these different layers. You click on this middle part right here, and that gives you the browser. This browser is definitely better than a lot of the instruments out there. You've got your tags in the middle for the instruments, and then over on the left-hand side, you've got all your patches, and then you just simply start filtering, and you say you want some kind of mallet sound that is maybe bowed. Let's see if we can find something that's mallet and bowed. Click on the load. And the thing I've noticed with these patches is when it thins out the information, you might have some stuff in there that does have a bowed mallet kind of sound, but you're gonna have other things too, because a lot of them have 4 different sounds at the same time. So in that case, you would go in and listen to the different cores, maybe solo it, have a listen to that one, solo this one, And you see over on complete control, as I solo each one, the colors end up on the keyboard according to this little color of this little solo button. So now you can see just the blue ones up here. Each of these cores has individual controls, volume, pan, etc., etc. You can go and choose a core preset. So I could turn off all of these cores and now just start listening to a single core sound. So I click on the preset there, and that opens up the preset browser, which is a whole different set of patches for one sound at a time. And they've got presets for everything, which is that's another thing that's kind of blowing my mind. They've got some LFO type stuff, some animator type things. They've even got presets for that. There's so much customizability in this software and the way it's working with its rhythmic stuff. So that is definitely something that sets this instrument apart from so many other instruments out there right now. And it seems very intuitive. The recording of the sounds by Red Room Audio are fantastic. And then the interface here by Sample Logic is just, there's nothing like this that I've seen on Kontakt. So I'm quite impressed with that. So core presets, load your presets right there. And then you've also got just individual sound sources. So here you can see all of the orchestral stuff and then the synthesizer sounds as well. This little XY mixer thing is the way to control the levels of those. And then the coolest part about this is you can record your own performance of this XY mixer. Let's just try this. Let's hit record, and then I hold down a note. And then now, I press the note, and we can see it doing everything in time with what I just programmed. It should stay there for a while, and then go back to the middle. Every time I hold a note down, it starts back with that animation. I've never seen anything like this. It's really cool. If we click on the step section right here, then we can see all of the rhythmic aspects of Symphonic AI. As I was going through this, playing around with this a bit more, I found that sometimes I'd want a patch where I just played it. Go back to the core. I'm just going to turn off all of the other cores for now. To get to the more complex sequencer in Symphonic AI, you have to click this little pencil. And then now we can see things like the note that is played, the length of each step, which is so cool that you can go in and change each step to be a different length. Never seen a sequencer like that, because usually it's like everything's eighth notes, and then, so if I go to a 16th here, obviously by the end of this cycle of 16 steps, I'm going to be now a 16th shy. Let me show you what that would sound like. If I go to another 16th right here. So we can hear a da-da-da-da. So it's actually doing 2 16ths right there. But now I am going to run out. So at the end of all of my 16 steps, I'm actually going to not line up with a bar. So if that makes sense to you, what I would have to do is go up 2 more notes. And then for the extra steps, they've just given you a second page for the sequencer. And you can have up to 128 steps, which is kind of insane. You can make some really complex productions with just the sequencer of this software, which is pretty cool. Another one of my favorite features is this part right here. Is if I go to where it says 1/8, or just below where it says the note value, I can say don't do a note, but actually do a stutter right there. And then we can see what the stutter is. The stutter is a 30-second note right now. Let's make a couple more stutters. Make another stutter here. So you're getting some really complicated things that are happening on each individual note of this sequencer. Very, very cool. You get some really neat glitchy stuff happening with other patches. Not a great patch to be showing it on, but you get the idea. That's the step sequencer. You've got individual steps that you can program in for each of these different cores. You can copy and paste patterns that you've made. You can even take a pattern and drag the MIDI onto your project and then change it further. Then we've got things like effects and then a master effect. So we can have individual effects on each of the cores, and then we can have master effects on the whole entire thing. So now let's just play around with this a bit and try making some sounds. Let's try a plucked patch. So a plucked, some really nice string sounds in here. I don't think I need this one on, so maybe I'll turn that one off. We got some brass in there and some choir. Some chords in there. Perfect. And don't forget to quantize rhythmic things. If you have a rhythmic thing and it's slightly off and it's not quantized, then it's going to be out with everything else. So this is a time where quantizing is important. We've got another Symphonic AI loaded up right here. Okay, I'm just going to play through some patches till we find something that we like. Wow. Okay, I like the synthy thing. Let's go with that. Falling brass. Don't think we need that one in this patch. And we put these two together. Okay, so let's go look at the sequencer or the step sequencer for these two patches, these soloed ones. Let's take it down an octave. Yeah, maybe this will be our bass patch. So it looks like this velocity is triggering that kind of sort of sound. Let's take it down a notch. And it's 14 steps right now of 16th notes. Let's take that up to 16. Okay, I like that better. And look, we can do some panning stuff too here. Just drag. Let's take this one and try raising it up 12. This is where we change the notes. And let's maybe make that louder. So there we've got a sweet little synth thing going on that we just programmed in. This is another one that I did before I started this video. And what I did on this one is I went through and added some stutters. So if I go to the step right here, it's just this limoncello right here. And if I go look at it, I've got I just added some more stutters. So I think these were just notes before. Let's have a listen. But you put them all to stutters and you get this really interesting thing happening. And now, again, you got to notice the steps. There's 7 steps. How is that actually working with the beat? Well, it's because one of the steps is actually 2 eighth notes or a quarter note long. Let's put a stutter right here. And we can even change how long the stutter is. 64th notes. And then I've got another kit in there, another decoded forms kit. Okay, I just went through and put the shaker in there because I love that sound in there. Love me some shaker. So yeah, both of these kits from Decoded Forms are working perfectly with this kind of industrial thing that's happening here. And we'll just try one more patch in here. I think that gives you an idea of the way this software works. Very impressed with what they've done with it with both Sapologic's part and Red Room Audio. Go check them out as well. Hopefully doing more videos on their stuff, both of those companies in the future. So hit the subscribe button and the bell, and we'll see you in the next video.